Sigei, I'll give you a chance to respond to that. And then also, as you respond, isn't it concerning that we are quickly deteriorating into a country that disobeys court orders?
Well put. And it's one of those things that almost on a daily basis, I and Mans, who are practitioners in law, would expect a democracy like Kenya, and also an enlightened nation. You know, Kenya is enlightened, by the way. The biggest headache is a decision is arrived at, a pronouncement is made by court, and there's not necessarily, I wouldn't call it blatant non-compliance, but an attempt to justify non-compliance. It's go into the practice that comes both from the government and even from the private sector. The unfortunate thing, the government always, or in most of the times, gets away with it, of course, by virtue of the fact that it is the government of the day. However, it is one of those things that personally I wouldn't entertain, I wouldn't accommodate in my everyday life, because the moment the rule of law gets out of the window, where court orders are ignored, we become a country of, the jungle rule, which is worse than having the court system running issues as and when people have gone into. So it's true that even though we had a court order that had directed the government then to implement certain demands by the doctors, that failure does not justify the failure on the part of the doctors to comply. It doesn't mean that the fact that I have not complied as a government warrants equally the other party not to. And so that is also a problem that I, on the one hand, would say the government indeed could have a reason as to why it has not been able to pay. When you look at, listen to the statement that I believe was issued by the head of the public service, the expected salary from the CBA would take up to from 4 billion to 12 billion. Now, that is an amount that should be made available for immediate compliance with the court order by the government. And so, what do? They say, we are offering this 2.4 in order to allow the doctors to go back to the hospital and work. What does that mean? The goodwill exhibited then by the government should have equally attracted a reciprocating goodwill on the part of the doctors to say, look, even if it's about buying time or asking for more time, then this has been placed on the table. But an outright rejection of it completely, of course, it disarms even the government. This is an offer made. This is money made available with justification that, look, we are headed to and complete implementation. So it's not fair at all also to completely shift full blame on the part of the government and say they have been in contempt of court. Well, when an offer has been made. Two, if we talk about historical issues, we do not attempt to justify that we cannot do them because it was committed by the previous regime. No, we are saying it has taken time. We are saying it was an issue that was discussed. It is still a live issue. No one has said that, look, I cannot do this because it was a conversation that took place in the last regime. And as we all know, every government is perpetual. It doesn't mean that this is a story that we cannot talk about now. No. And so it could have been a policy statement, a policy issue, a dispute that could not have been resolved. But we still need doctors here. We had them then having a dispute with the regime. We have them now, and they are our doctors. We must deal with the issue. So no one is running away from it. And even the CS then is not saying that she's running away from it by the fact that there has been delays in resolving or there has been stalemate in negotiation. That is not to say she has failed. Okay. She hasn't. And therefore, it answers the concern that my brother here is saying she's incompetent. But when you look at that motion by Babu Owino, I like the way Honorable Manzo is putting it, that you're a politician, you're a senior for that matter, even unlike me. In terms of such motions, you've seen he's only in this motion stated two reasons: incompetence as one of the reasons, and two, violation of the Constitution. I mean, why has she violated the Constitution? Even for starters, you cannot even have that motion pick up. Where has she violated the Constitution? She has attempted as the CS running at the policy level to engage the doctors. So that is dead on arrival. We should talk about other things other than that motion.
Okay.
Besides the issues that my friend knows would happen, what are we talking about in an accusation where a CS is accused of...
So you're admitting that the numbers game will come into play?
Obvious that we are in a political environment, but this is completely out because we are dealing with the health of Kenyans.
Okay.
We should therefore be more serious than a violation of the Constitution being one of the charges against the CS.
Okay.
That is dead on arrival. Flatly, it can't take off.
All right.
The other one, incompetence. Incompetence, she was vetted by Parliament.
Yeah.
Where my colleague sits, where Babu Owino sits, as to whether or not he belongs to the committee that vets, his colleagues in Parliament took her through the process of vetting, and she was approved. It can therefore be an issue to discuss as at now. Okay. And for my colleague to say that, you know, when he started, he talked about historical, and later on non-historical. He also spoke about the issue on, a shared function and shift blame entirely to now the government, merely because the CS comes from the ruling coalition. The people who sit in health committee are governors. Some of them are also governors from his side of the coalition. So this is a whole government approach that we should place aside politics, run the interest of Kenyans in the health sector. We all want to do that.
I will take a quick break, but I know